Untuk private program, kita menambahkan program dan pemerintahan untuk
Good morning to all participants. Welcome to Greg's 2020 from ISACA Indonesia chapter. We will start this meeting in a few minutes, so be patient, ladies and gentlemen, and be prepared for all the speakers that we're going to have in this maintaining physical distancing, governing digital mainstreaming topics.
Attackers are targeting your applications. Armies of bots are increasingly used to automate vulnerability exploits and accelerate commercial and retail fraud. Plus, readily available compromised data and tools provide attackers with an attractive ROI. And the risk surface is growing as modern apps are decentralized, leveraging APIs and third-party integrations, which can create security blind spots. Strategic business initiatives such as revenue generation, customer loyalty, and brand building can be hijacked, resulting in data breaches, account takeovers, and fraud. Your customers demand trusted digital experiences, but your apps are complex, which makes them tougher to secure. Your business is at stake. F5 solutions protect digital experiences, reduce operational costs, and improve customer retention through a resilient, automated, and adaptive defense that maintains full efficacy as attackers evolve, reduces friction for your customers, and enables security at app speed. So you can keep your business safe and productive now while ensuring that you're prepared for the next evolution of attacks. Learn more at f5.com/adaptiveapps.
2020 adalah tahun yang terasa asing. Seperti menjejakkan kaki ke dunia baru, semua terasa tidak akrab. Dengan menghadapi dunia yang berbeda, hidup kita pun menjadi tak lagi sama. Semua di depan mata, terpapar apa adanya. Ketidakpastian, batasan, hingga masa depan yang terlihat abu-abu, semua terpampang luas di depan mata. Semua ini seakan-akan perjalanan panjang tanpa akhir. Asing, namun menarik. Tidak akrab, namun menjanjikan. Ini semua tidak menjadi halangan bagi kita untuk terus berlari. Pastikan jiwa terus menyala untuk bangkitkan harapan. Menginspirasi dan memotivasi masyarakat untuk terus lakukan aksi. Berjuang berdampingan untuk masa depan yang pasti. Indosat Uridu 53 tahun untuk bangkitkan Indonesia. Bangkit bersama, kejar ujung matahari untuk hari esok yang lebih cerah. 53 tahun Indosat Uridu, Rising Up Indonesia.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Greg's 2020 from ISACA Indonesian chapter. I'm Sandy Zaidan. I'll be your host during this 3 days meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the special thing about this meeting this year is that this year we held this meeting online or digital. But even though we're digitally online right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are hope that we still can learn together effectively and comfortably. And this year, 2020, we bring the theme of maintaining physical distancing, governing digital mainstream, since we all know that we are now facing global pandemic COVID-19. And to know more about why and how we bring this theme, and also to deliver a welcome greeting, we would like to invite the President of ISACA Indonesian chapter, Mr. Rahmat Mulyana. Please, Mr. Rahmat Mulyana, time is yours now.
Can you hear me? All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Apa kabar? Greetings from ISACA. Dear honorable distinguished speakers for today, David Samuelson, the CEO of ISACA Global, Prof. Ilya Alfianti, the Commissioner of PT PLN and also former Commissioner of OJK, Gabriela Reinaga, the Director of Holistic GRC and also former Board of Director of ISACA Global, and also Prof. Claudio Silli, the CEO of Net Partner Consulting and the President of ISACA Rome Chapter. And I also here see Pak Leonard from GE, our also former BOD of ISACA Global. So, dear sponsor for this event, Indosat, F5, Datacom, NTT, EY, Proxys, IDEA, Multimatics, ATD, and also Transformer, and also from media partners, Infocomputer and Aku Tahu, and their honorable VIP participants, Chief of 40 BUMN, Pak Bustomi, Pak Tri Haryanto, and the rest of the board of BUMN, the Deputy of KPK, Pak Muhammad Hadiana and team, the leaders representatives from government bodies, OJK, BPK, Bank Indonesia, PPATK, Bappenas, LPS, BPS, SKK Migas, and also from the ministries. And the representative from business like PT Telkom, Telkomsel, PLN, BCA Mandiri, and not to mention also the colleagues from academia and also students, ITB, Unpad, Telkom University, BINUS, UMN, UKSW, and so on and so forth. And the representative also from our colleagues supporting organizations like ISACA Singapore, Malaysia, Bangkok, and Korea. And also from CSA, ID, AFDI, ISINDO, PMIIC, IIEP, ESS Square, and also Apticom 40, IASI, and IAI, and IAPI. Last but not least, Bapak Ibu semua, ladies and gentlemen, all the participants from all ISACA stakeholders, please allow me to welcome all of you to our esteemed event, GREX 2020. It is our great pleasure and honor for us to conduct this summit, which is part of our mission as the board to create a closer relationship among the members and also large community of ISACA Indonesia's chapter. On behalf of the GREX 2020 committee, we would like to welcome all of you to our second summit here. It is an honor for us to accept your trust, whether from ISACA member colleagues in particular, and also from all ISACA stakeholders in general, including from government bodies, business, and also academia. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know that ISACA is the largest professional association in IT governance, risk management, assurance, and cybersecurity field, which established since more than 50 years ago. So currently we have almost 150,000 members distributed in 224 chapters around the world. We have many professional breakfastries, and also the certification, such as CISA for audit, CGIT and COVID for IT governance and management, CISM for information security, and also CSX for the cybersecurity. And also we have CDIPC for data engineer solution professionals. Indeed, the COVID-19 pandemic has made our safe very different nowadays worldwide. But for sure, we are pleased that the positive influence of digital technologies has never been so marvelous. So much of what we have done in person in the past can now be done online. And even now, actually, we are able to connect to even more people than we could ever do before when we had to travel physically to the events. We are grateful that this pandemic could not take away our opportunities to connect each other and also learn from one another. When the world is going virtual and digital transformation is happening very fast, this online connection has made it easier for us than before to be truly one global community. So there are almost 500 participants are here for this event. No wonder, because we will enjoy many hot topics delivered by our distinguished speakers. In this 3-day summit, participants are expected to get a lot of knowledge about various elements of GREX, namely IT governance, risk management, assurance, and also cybersecurity. We, as the committee, have determined a diverse term entitled Maintaining Physical Distancing and also Governing Digital Mainstreaming. And these are the essence of the agenda of summits. such as to bring up the most pressing issues relating to challenge and also the solutions in dealing with pandemic, and also how to define and build threat intelligence capability, agile IT governance, managing uncertainty in digital transformation within the pandemic, and also raising the bars in securing our assets from cybersecurity threats. Not to mention also the nation's strategy on data privacy policy and also the law enforcement. And last but not least, about the governing digital ecosystem, how to get back to the course in developing digital Indonesia. Of course, this is also part of our big efforts to promote ISACA's new phase through this event, even though in the midst of world current pandemic situations. All of this is the result of extraordinary contribution for all parties involved, starting from the willingness from our prominent speakers to share their wisdom and strong support also from our partners, sponsors, supporting organizations, the event organizer, and of course, tirelessly support from fellow volunteers. The full-time staff of ISACA Indonesia and ISACA student groups who have endowed their precious time and energy together struggling for the past few months to give their best for this GREX 2020. Salute to you all friends. There are really no days without ISACA. Definitely, digital governance and management is inevitable in this disruptive technology era. Digitalization is a condition when science becoming fact. It is a game changer. So let's embrace technology, but not becoming one. Let's drive the changes, not being driven by. Let's stop asking who, but say why not we. And the final word is let's keep innovate and persevere in our role as IT GRC and cybersecurity professionals. Finally, it is really interesting what we will share each other these 3 days ahead. So hopefully the summit will run smartly and also beneficial. So please enjoy. Hopefully this summit will provide new insights and perspectives among fellows, ISACA ID, whether is it members and also all the stakeholders of ISACAs. And I hope that I'm not taking your time too long for this welcome speech. Again, thank you so much for being here with us. Please enjoy this event. Salam sehat, salam ISACA. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rahmat Mulyana, for explanations and also for delivering the welcome greetings. So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we also have a special package coming from Chief Executive Officer or CEO ISACA, Mr. David Samuelson. And to know what is the special package from him, let's check out this video.
Hello, Indonesia chapter. For those of you who don't know me, I'm David Samuelson, CEO of ISACA. What a year this has been. I've now been with ISACA for more than a year and a half, but given the events of this year, I have not had the opportunity to meet as many of you as I'd hoped to by now. One of the best parts about ISACA is our global network of passionate, dedicated members, and I am eager to get to know more and more of you. While COVID-19 has made that more difficult, I'm pleased that the positive potential of technology has never been so clear or so inspiring. So much of what we've done in person in the past can now be done online, and in a way, I'm able to connect to even more people than I could before, when I had to physically travel to events. I am grateful that the pandemic could not take away our opportunities to connect and learn from one another in meaningful ways. At chapter events like this one, at our global conferences and virtual summits, and in our online communities. The world's pivot to virtual and online connection has made it easier than ever before for our 145,000 members to be truly one global community. Last year, ISACA celebrated 50th anniversary. This year, it's the first year of our next 50 years, and we have some exciting updates and upcoming news in store. For the first time ever, ISACA offers remote proctoring for our CISA, CISM, C-Guide, and C-Risk certifications. We launched this feature just a month after COVID-19 became a pandemic to ensure that no one's learning journey or career advancement would be interrupted. ISACA is now offering guidance, learning, and credentials on privacy, in addition to audit, information security, governance, and risk. As part of our new privacy program, we launched the Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer Credential, or CDPSE, this year. Demand for this certification has exceeded all of our expectations, and it's clear that additional privacy guidance and resources is important to many of our members. ISACA's new foundation, One in Tech, recently had its public launch with a new website and a podcast program. The foundation focuses on diversity and equity in tech and strives to build a healthy digital world that is safe, secure, and accessible for all. ISACA also published new guidance and information to help you advance your knowledge and help your enterprises. The second edition of Risk IT was recently launched, and the first COBIT Focus Area Guide was released covering information security. ISACA also established a COVID-19 Resource Center that continues to be updated with new resources on topics from remote work to navigating risk and ensuring effective governance in a pandemic. I'm also happy to share that we received 2 industry awards this year for our Community Day and 50th Anniversary program. Both were recognized for their ability to connect members in new and meaningful ways. On top of all those things, we launched our new branding and our new website earlier this year, setting the stage for ISACA's future as a modern learning organization with the focus on deeper engagement and digital innovation. None of these accomplishments would be possible without the efforts of ISACA professionals across the globe, including dedicated chapters like yours. Please join me in thanking the Indonesia chapter leaders for today's event and for the many opportunities they provide you and your local professional community. I hope to see you in the near future and to shake your hand when that becomes a possibility. But in the meantime, let's continue to connect how we can, and let's dream about a bright future for ISACA and for our communities. Together, ISACA professionals accomplish incredible things, and I can't wait to see what the next decades bring. Indonesia chapter members, thank you for being an important part of ISACA and for being here today. Enjoy your event.
Yes, that was the special video presented by Chief Executive Officer, CEO ISACA, Mr. David Samuelson. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear an explanation from an inspiring and empowering woman from Indonesia. Right now, she is a lecturer in Faculty of Economy in Pajajaran University and being a commissioner in PT PLN Indonesia. She used to be a commissioner member of Financial Service Authority of Republic of Indonesia, OJK, from 2012 to 2017. She decided to dedicate her knowledge and experiences being Auditor Utama Keuangan Negara ke-7 in Badan Pemeriksa Keuangan BPK, staf ahli pelaksana tugas Auditor Utama Keuangan Negara ke-7 tahun 2009 sampai dengan tahun 2010, staf ahli BPK tahun 2008 sampai dengan tahun 2010, tenaga ahli BPK tahun 2007 sampai dengan tahun 2008, tenaga ahli Menteri Keuangan Republik Indonesia tahun 2005 sampai dengan tahun 2006, komisaris PT Tuban Petro Industri tahun 2006 sampai dengan tahun 2009, and committee member of audit PT Bio Farma di tahun 2002 sampai dengan tahun 2007. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commissioner of PT PLN Indonesia, Professor Ilya Avianti.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you and my congratulations to ISACA Indonesia chapter for organizing this event. The Honorable Mr. Rahmat Mulyana, President of ISACA Indonesia chapter. Selamat pagi Pak Rahmat. All speakers and moderators, ISACA Indonesia chapter leaders, team, and ISACA chapter participants from other countries. Greeting also to all ISACA members from various professions and industries. And also, last but not least, all the participants who attend this event. I am very honored that I can be here among all of you, being part of GRC and cybersecurity communities. Alhamdulillah, with my all experiences like in BPK, OJK, Ministry of Finance, and now as one of the commissioner at PLN, has provided me with various perspectives about GRC. It has convinced me that GRC is very important for our life in every aspect. In this digital era, the role of GRC is becoming more and more important and should be all of our concern. So let me share the presentation as follows. May I help? Sorry. Yeah. Let's start with the survey published by Hootsuite. As can be seen from the slide, that out of 2,072 million Indonesian population in January 2020, there are 175.4 million internet users and 160 million social media users. It is even note that there are 338.2 million mobile connections, which is more than the total population in Indonesia itself. It is very interesting because it shows that Indonesia is one of the largest internet users in the world with high penetration. This means that digital is already in Indonesia. This is a very good potential for the economy in Indonesia. The government realized that there are very high potential of Indonesia digital economy. The government has targeted to become the center of the digital economy in Southeast Asia. As seen in the slide, fintech, e-commerce, on-demand services, and the Internet of Things in Indonesia have increased quite rapidly in the past few years. Several surveys also show that during pandemic, their usages are even increasing. Of course, this will contribute to the growth of the digital economy in Indonesia. The COVID-19 outbreak is a tragedy that will have long-lasting implications for our global economy. The pandemic has showcased the value of digital operating models and is likely to force many companies to speed up their digital innovation and transformation. There is a joke on social media that asks, who is responsible for the digital transformation of your company? You are as CEO, the IT department, or COVID-19? This pandemic changes the way we work and how we do business. There are many new things and perspectives that we discover during this pandemic. Many organizations have finally succeeded in carrying out digital transformation with this COVID-19 force. The pandemic brought many new challenges as well as opportunity for all of us. This pandemic made us realize how important this digitalization is to be immediately utilized by many parties in many aspects. Now, this digital growth bring many positive things in Indonesia because through digital, governance can automatically be created. The digital transaction could provide transparency of information between all related parties, for example, from the buyers, sellers, and intermediaries who are on the platform. All of the related parties can monitor any transaction that have been made. We can experience various examples for ourselves with the presence of Gojek, Tokopedia, Halodoc, Traveloka, and others. In digital transaction, the specification of the product and services are provided transparently. Customer can give a review, rating of service providers and products on the platform that they transact. Even users are given an assessment. Digital transaction is more efficient as it reduces the cost. This is clear example of governance practices was one well felt impossible. Now has been implemented and truly beneficial for our daily lives. Governance is inherent in digital platforms. Those who do not provide good transparency will be left behind by their customer. So far, governance itself has been misinterpreted. Governance was considered as a compliance checklist that must be followed or even checked. What exactly is the meaning of governance that we need to understand? Why do we need that? Why do we need that? First, integrity and ethics are the foundation of governance. There is no such thing as have a good integrity or partial integrity. Integrity is absolute. Second, integrity starts from the smallest group, which is family. Exemplary principle of integrity and ethics must be carried out from the family. Third, tone at the top is very important. The tone of the top sets an organization guiding values and ethical climate. It is the foundation upon which the culture of an enterprise is built. Fourth, digital era enforce governance to all the participants. Digital encourages the existence of governance. And fifth, without governance, organization will fail. We can learn from the Enron case in United States, with push for the creation of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. How rigid these rules are and have resulted in various companies having difficulty implementing what is regulated in the regulation. Too many and rigid regulation. Too many and rigid regulation will only make it difficult for the public and business players to implement them and may lead to hinder the innovation growth. Rule-based regulation will result in the application of a checklist. On the other hand, principle-based regulation will maintain space for innovation for the community and business people while keeping the effective implementation of regulation. Besides, self-regulatory and collaborative governance are important in order to encourage the development in Indonesia. Collaborative governance encourages collaboration between government, society, and business players together to find solution of problems. This collaboration is highly needed. So the best effective solution may result in favor of all related parties that match the needs and challenges being faced. The three pillars of good governance, which are good corporate governance, good government governance, and good public governance. So digital ecosystem require trust and integrity. Digital ecosystem is a complex ecosystem where each platform managed by the company is connected to one another. Connection between systems, of course, requires mutual trust between systems. Without trust, this connection will not occur or will not work properly. This integrated system will be beneficial for stakeholders and business players. The complexity of the connection between this system requires trust, so it will create continuity. Without governance, this would be impossible. Now, the growth of digital technology also comes with its own challenges for digital players. Various problems in managing technology internally in an organization are certainly more complex than before. External threats such as personal data protection, cybersecurity threats, and various regulations issued by government and regulators must be handled properly. The complexity of these challenges has indeed changed from a traditional business. This complexity must become our concern in order to create a healthy digital ecosystem. Let's enrich our understanding of digital. ISACA, as a global organization, has published guidelines to implement IT governance using COVID as its framework. This framework that has been used for decades by various companies in the world in order to encourage good IT governance to be created. It is very good for our organization to understand this. So it can create a good digital ecosystem. Actually, this is a good principle-based example that a company can determine its own priorities and the quick win needed in order to create governance in its organization. Let us together support the development and implementation of good digital governance. We need to support digital transformation together in order to create good governance. The availability of data, it's important. And be aware of various cybersecurity threats and challenges. And let us create good digital governance by creating good collaboration between government, regulation, companies, and communities. I believe that Indonesia can become one of the strongest countries in the world through digitalization. Thank you very much for your attention and opportunity. Let's be able to join this event until the end on the third day. There will be various topics at this event that are very relevant to Indonesia current needs in order to encourage digitalization with good governance practices. Once again, thank you and success to you all.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. Ilya, for the presentations about innovation with ethics and integrity. So the next session, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a keynote speech. And in the end of the discussion, we also will have question and answer session. So you will be able to ask questions, but later on. Before we go into the keynote speech, I also would like to say thanks to our sponsor because the sponsor have been helping us and support us to help this meeting. Thank you to the Titanium sponsors, F5, Indosat Uridu. Thank you to Palladium sponsors, NTT Indonesia, Datacom Dian Graha, and gold sponsors, Proxys Consulting Group, Idea Insight Consulting, Multimatics, Transforma, ATD Solution, and EY Building a Better Working World. And of course, to all supporting organization and media partners. Thank you all. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now waiting for the next station that is the discussion with the topics of challenges and solutions in dealing with pandemic situations, IT risk management and IT audit point of view by Gabriela Reinaga. But while we're waiting for Gabriela Reinaga, I would like to read a short profile of Gabriela Reinaga. She spent 10 years with Deloitte working in Mexico and also in Canada. And she also has worked in business risk services for Sales Science Grant Thornton. In addition to taking on a variety of consulting roles, she also was the former member board of director of ISACA and now as the CEO of Holistic GRC, which providing audit and consulting services with a holistic approach. All right, participants, we're waiting for her right now, but I also, well, she's ready right now. So since she is ready right now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present you the presentations from Gabriela Renaga. And also I would like to invite you to ask questions in the end of the discussion. You might able to ask question by raising your hands in the room chat. So now, please welcome, this is Gabriela Renaga.
Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on where you are while you're watching us. Thanks to the GRACS Organization Committee for the invitation and for this opportunity. Well, our topic today will be challenges and solutions in dealing with pandemic situation, IT risk management and IT audit point of view. During this session, we will address just some of the challenge and a few solutions for those challenges that we certainly have not faced or we have to face in our task from the point of view of IT risk management and IT audit. And well, let's start. A year ago, we would have never imagined that our way of working would be as we are doing today. No doubt, we have done everything humanly possible to execute our tasks. However, we have to make changes arising from the challenges that have been presented. When the pandemic was declared 255 days ago, on March 11, by the OMS, we never thought it would be so long. And that has made us realize that we need to change and create new ways to work. Our topic about IT risk management and IT audit, it's going to be presented today. Regarding IT risk management, I would like to use the GRC model by the Open Compliance and Ethics Group, OSEC. And GRC stands for Risk, Governance, and Compliance. It sure applies to IT risks. Definitely, I love this model because it helps us to manage, but in several ways with an holistic approach. I will try to explain briefly, but certainly for IT risk management, the challenge here will be to know there is something that we can use and put into practice. That will be the challenge. Our solution is certainly to take it at all levels of organizations, from the board of directors and to the level of people that works and takes care of internal control. That sounds easy, but it requires a great effort. Believe me, it does. Moving to this model, all organizations, regardless of their origin, work on their business model. They have people, process, methodologies, infrastructure that will lead them to the achievement of their objective. Their objective can be a strategic or operational, clients, economicals, among others. Unfortunately, not everything works as planned. And that reminds me that I should be, or what our expectation will be to be with you physically right now, but well, you know, pandemic. There will always be a risk factor or uncertainty, as we call it. And that should make us reconsider the methodologies and processes that allows to achieve the objectives. It always, there's the probability that something can happen. That's definitely exists. That's sometimes we call inherent risk or residual risk after we plan and administrate risks. But that risk or uncertainty, we can take as an opportunity to redesign our procedures and keep on track. As long as we don't exceed the voluntary and mandatory limits. As you can see in this figure, we can do anything that it needs to be done. But what should we do? Run out of action? No. We must look for the exception that allow us to continue, but well planned, considering what the organization government dictates, either mandatory or voluntary. The option now is to adopt a GRC model, as I'm showing you, and we define this as the reliable achievement objectives while addressing uncertainty or risk and acting with integrity and evaluating performance. In my humble opinion and professional opinion, I think for risk management, this will be the most, not perfect, but the most practical approach to take it. And I realized for the last couple of years where I've been working with many of our clients, this is going to be something good, something that help organizations to achieve their objectives. And now the objective is to keep working despite the situation. Okay, but let's move on to IT audit. That's another story. When it comes to audit, the audit will remain the same. Yes, even with the pandemic. But the methodology put into practice will not. We need to replan or rethink about what are we doing and how are we things are doing. But we always must take in consideration three main elements that every organization has. And when it comes to audit, it also applies. What I'm referring is to people, processes, and infrastructure. From my point of view, we will have to add a new element, the regulatory compliance. And yes, since one of the main changes we have undergone is remote work, and the audit must also be carried out remotely most of the time. Sometimes we can attend to our clients or to the company to perform audits. But this is the new paradigm where the corresponding adjustment must be made to the applicable legislation if depending on the audit, and if it requires it, well, we need to consider it. But going back to the three great elements that I mentioned, people, process, and infrastructure, we must address the challenge of each of them. And we will go through each one of them in the following slides, just with I think the most important, the principal or the major challenges. And well, I know I don't have all the solutions, but we can start thinking about how to create a solution to face those challenges. When we talk about people, I found in the last days that auditing techniques in people's skills, either hard or soft skills, need to be changed. Considering how we will obtain the information to be audited, new audit techniques must be created, and this must be part of the auditor's knowledge as well as the tools which they will be supported. As an example of soft skills, this is exactly what happened. I was very confident every time that I was presenting when I was doing it face-to-face. In a big room with a lot of people, feeling and seeing your faces and see how we're reacting. But now we need to do this virtually, remotely. I'm in Mexico right now. I'm in my hometown, Guadalajara. And each one of you are in your home, seated right in front of your desk. Some of you are lucky, still on bed or comfortable in a couch. But we need to learn new ways to run the audit, to perform the audit. Let's think about the interview. sometimes, well, the relation our auditor and auditee, it's not the very best all the time. Even when you were doing it face to face, now imagine how hard it is to do it remotely. So we need to learn how to do it. So that's part of the soft skills that the auditors needs to learn or develop in order to run those interviews. And also, many of times when we were having an interview, we can discover by looking at their face of the auditee if they were telling the truth, or they have any doubt, or they were thinking or rethinking an answer after we made a question. And it's hard right now. So that's a kind of the challenge to communicate with the auditee, in order to know and identify if we're having the right comprehension of what we're looking for. I was thinking, how are we going to do a physical review of, I don't know, sites? And typically we were there, we visit the site, we were doing the walkthrough and check how are the access control was performing and so on, right? That's what happened in the good old days. But now we need to run some different tests, or the way we do the audit is completely different. That's something that we need to learn. How are we going to do? For instance, if we're going to check the physical part of a site, well, how are we going to do it now? I mean, somebody from our clients or from the auditee team is going to be there with a camera and trying to show us all the floor and the ceiling and the air conditioning, and if the wire is well organized, or what's the materials and what is around that room. So we need to identify what other type of tests we need to run in order to make a good judgment or have a good attestation of our audit. And we need to give them precise indication or instruction, because we cannot be on site all the time, or we cannot visit them, or we're going to do it remotely. So that's going to be for sure one of the biggest challenge for people. So we need to change the paradigm of how we review it. But when it comes from cybersecurity, well, we can maybe perform some penetration test or any other kind of test, but it's going to be the right. That's something that we need to put on the table and start thinking if this is going to be the best way to do it. Moving on to the next element, processes. Regarding processes, one of the biggest challenge will be to update all of our audit processes, or, well, if we don't have it, create it. Or if we have to follow up a standard, well, many of the standards, many of the frameworks needs to be updated to our new reality that adapt to our new way to audit and the way we have to apply them remotely, of course. Certainly, not all auditors and auditees feel comfortable with these new modalities. However, the audit process will be impacted for sure. And if it's not going to be, they already have impact. And many of you, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, we cannot stop. We've been working, we keep working, but in a different way. So I'm pretty sure that so far many of you come up with a lot of ideas and new ways to do it, and that's good. But keep in mind that processes needs to be documented, updated, communicated. So, and truth to be told, with this new reality or normality, we need to be more flexible and work harder. We should identify according to the type of audit, either internal or external, and the purpose of it, and the way it had to be performed for sure. So we have to impact a lot in processes. As the result might be valid with the new process. I mean, we already obtain a result, but the way we obtain the information is valid. It's really an evidence for audit. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. And I'm going to bring again compliance, because sometimes processes for IT audit needs to be based in some compliance framework standard or so. So we need to think about that. What is going to be enough information? I mean, I remember in my first years as an auditor, as we were running some interviews and we corroborated by the review of documentation, reprocess, observations, a walkthrough. But now, how are we going to put in place or be satisfied with the process of the audit and risk of audit it's going to be presented? Well, I'll show you in our next element. Okay, so it's important that we need to consider in this element process the quality of the information that we're obtaining, and if this information is enough valid, if this was obtained by somebody that it doesn't have enough independence for the process. So processes needs to be designed with this all elements. So challenge will be, again, I'm saying it and I'm going to mention again a lot of times, it's to update or create new processes. Moving forward to infrastructures. The infrastructure challenge, and I'm pretty sure that many of you thought about it, is the security of the infrastructure that we're using during the audit. It's funny or it's interesting to think that the same resources that might be failing or have security breaches, and we must observe them, will be the same that we will be used to perform the audit, and sometimes even worse, to communicate the results. This could put organization at risk by having information leaked or unauthorized access to the information while we are trying to make aware to the personnel about their control deficiency through an observation letter or so on. So I think the solution is that we must then, as a first solution, ensure the technical resources for communication that we use during the execution of the audit are secure, and to ensure that the information, video calls, reports, and everything that's go on through that infrastructure and is classified, confidential, but also has a correct encryption, so that during the trip or the sending the information is not compromised. This implies making changes in the telecommunication services. But it's funny that how are you going to make changes before you have the result for the audit and you come in a loop, you get in a bad loop. But anyway, that's something that we need to think about it. So infrastructure, and well, obviously the company must have for sure a data loss prevention plan, very robust, very updated, and identify, remember the GRC model, the IT risk management. So we need to make sure that before we do the IT audit, we have a level of confidence of the resources that we're using to perform the audit. Therefore, we're going to have a certain level of confidence of the outcome of the audit, and especially to give that security to the organization, to let them know that feel comfortable while you're being audited. And it doesn't matter if it's an internal audit or as an external, but keep in mind that we're always going to be sending back and forward a lot of information through infrastructure that it's been audited and could be not the best, okay? I know it's not so simple. I mean, there's a lot of great tools in the market right now, but that means investment. And investment means money. And right now, companies are struggling with the economical situation, many companies. And to invest in IT side, it's hard. So changes in infrastructures comes with high investment. And that's something that maybe right now companies are not, companies that doesn't have the chance to do it right now. Last but not least, let's talk about compliance. I remember when I was auditing, well, when I have to audit, sometimes I have to follow certain procedures, certain standards, some rules, some requirements. But those standard rules, regulations, policies were developed in a different time, where we work remotely so much as we're doing right now. So it was like, okay, eventually we were doing, but so far we're all the time connected, and we're using a lot of cloud services, and we're putting a lot of information in the cloud or web services. And there's no, at least in my country, I'm talking about my country, I don't know yours, maybe yours, they already have the appropriate regulation. We're not considering yet the use of such kind of technology. Therefore, if we're moving to this new reality, we need to consider compliance. Definitely, this is going to be a very short presentation, sorry. But the point is, we need to consider always this element and what the changes that we have to be doing for this. For conclusions, I think I was running. I would like to almost close this presentation with these three small conclusions. World have changed, we must change. We need to forget about, or just to take the good thing of the ways or the practices that we used to have before this situation, and then react, create the new ways, the new paradigm that we're going to do for work, or to perform our work. Another small thing is to be doing this one step at a time. A lot of things is running in our heads right now due to this situation, and it's important to consider that things cannot be all at once. things cannot be done all at once. So small step, but well done, well prepared in order to keep on track. Last but not least is to be flexible. Flexible because for many of us, well, it's good to be at home, but we still need to go out, commute, go to work, but we still don't know when this is going to be over. And we need to try to keep flexible, focus, and keep working. I think that's one of the keys to face these challenges of the pandemic. I have to be honest, this is the very first time that I mentioned the word in a presentation, pandemic, and I don't like it. I don't like the way things are going right now. But as I mentioned in the previous slides, this is the time for opportunity. So we can redesign the way we work, the objective, our processes, and why not? Let's think about that we can do it in a better way, for better, and to be still working, keeping on track, and why not to make a change. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a very short presentation, and I'll give you the microphone if you have any questions or comments. I would like to have a dialogue with you. I don't like this just one way talk. It's very complicated. That's something that I remember the one of the elements, people, soft skills. That's something that I haven't get used to. I would love to see and to start responding or have this dialogue. So I will open the space for questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabriela, for the presentations. So, like Gabriela said, participants are really invited and welcome to have a questions. We are opening the opportunity to the participants to ask questions in room chat. And please just raise your hand. I will try to ask one speaker who raised your hand. Yeah. Can we see the participants here? Yeah, we have more than 300 participants. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of participants here. Yeah, we have a question already from Rahmat Hidayat. Mas Rahmat Hidayat. Yeah. Maybe Mas Rahmat can open the mic. Yeah.
Okay.
Ready, Mas Rahmat?
Open. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, presenters. Good morning, participants. Thank you for this opportunity to give a simple question, basically, because this is still opening speech. So, what I want to ask is, what's the new in the governance and compliance and risk in this new normal? Yeah? I mean, because of COVID, I think there is so many updates and so many cases that founded by ISACA. So, what is the new in this governance, risk, and compliance, especially in financial industry? Thank you.
Hey, well, talking about governance, I will say that this year is the year that I have been called the most for many boards to be part of them. And this is the first year that I've been seeing that they're considering to form their IT committee. And because now they realize that digital transformation is here. It's nothing. That's nothing from the future. It's right here, and we're late right now. So they're bringing more experts to the board. It doesn't matter the size of the companies. Regarding the second part of your question about the financial sector, I think right now risks are higher because since we're working a lot with technology, we're always using our devices for banking, for communications, cybersecurity. It's one of the most important things that they're trying to attend right now. And thinking about my country and our situation, we've been dealing with a lot of attacks. So that's the new reality. So we need to take good care and be very, very clever and dedicate a lot of resources for cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Gabriela, for answering the questions. Mas Rahmat Hidayat, are you still there, Mas?
Yes.
Mas Rahmat Hidayat, do you mind to introduce yourself from what institutions you are now?
Okay, thank you. My name is Rahmat Hidayat, and currently I work for Askrindo, Asuransi Kredit Indonesia, which is one of SOE company for insurance. So basically, Askrindo in the financial sectors. That's why I have question about what is the new things in GRC, especially in financial industry. And Gabriela already answered correctly because right now we are running with digital transformation, so the risk will higher, and so we need to it's not just transform the technology but also transform the people, because the risk owner always owned by people, so people have to understand with the risk that they face currently. That's my short introduction. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the background of Mas Rahmat Hidayat. Why
Yes.
he asking so? So Mas Rahmat, thanks a lot for asking the questions. We still have another two slot of questions. If you have any questions, just raise your hands. And for those who have been asking questions, we also have prizes for you guys. So don't be worried to ask any questions. Gabriela will answer the questions. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. Questions? Anyone?
Questions
From participants?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. No more questions from participants? Oh, yeah, we have one. We have one from Yuliani. Open the mic, please, and you might give a little introduction from what institute you are in. Please? Yuliani? Yeah, open the mic. Yeah, okay.
Is it me?
Yuliani,
My name is
the name is...
Prihandoko.
Oh, Prihandoko, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have any question, then it's okay, Mas.
Okay. My name is Prihandoko. I'm from Gunadarma University. Regarding the pandemic COVID-19 today, we have some problems in dealing with students, how we can manage the competency of students so that they can catch up with the current technology and with the Gregor sorry, I don't remember then. That what you are presented just now, that we have to be compliant with the current situation. Do you have any idea how we can manage students so that their competencies is still in the good level in this pandemic condition?
That's a very good question and a very hard situation right now. Something that is not new in the last couple of years, a lot of the studies have mentioned the lack of professional in the IT areas, mostly for cybersecurity. And it's a worldwide situation, believe me. So this year I had the opportunity to give a class for a master degree in cybersecurity, and I realized that we need to do a lot of work. I don't know how to name it, to engage, to inspire the students to be dedicated to the IT areas. And I think that the problem right now, if somebody from human resources areas are here listening to us, is to identify what we really need and salaries. Most of the times, salaries make a difference to obtain a good expertise, a good professionals for the areas, but also there is like a trend that IT professional wants to only develop apps because that's sexy. They want to become the next founder of the future Facebook or something else. So they don't like to do the hard work, and the hard work also is nice. So it's something that we need to, for those who we already are in the IT area, we need to inspire them, to let them know that we can do a lot of things. They can do a lot of things and they have a lot of future. Something that I would like to mention, my background is a public accountant, but 19 years ago, I moved to the IT side for internal control, and I started growing. And I realized that, you can have any other background, but you need to be inspired by somebody else to follow the IT career. I don't know if that happens in your country, but every time that I have the chance to talk with students, I like to tell them that for sure it's a good profession, and we have a lot of benefits. And guess what? That's something that we are world needs right now, more IT, because right now with this pandemic, without the IT guys, we couldn't make it for sure. And the technology process and people, and we're down in a number of people.
Yes, good advice. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Okay.
Try to inspire somebody.
Try to inspire somebody, okay? Pak Pri Handoko from Tridharma University. Pak Pri, thank you for asking questions. We also still have one more space for the participant if you have any question. We have two actually here, the one who asked question, but I tried to pick one. Rio Armando Manik.
Hi.
Rio Armando Manik. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can give a little background from your institutions. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, my name is Rio Armando Manik. I am the new member of Telkom Indonesia Cybersecurity Operations Center from Telkom. I am new to the cybersecurity area. Could you please suggest the correct and the proper journey of mastering cybersecurity that I could follow, maybe the certifications or maybe the specific role that I need to pursue to master, to really master the cybersecurity area? Thank you.
CSX fundamentals, that's the first step, and follow the track. So I think that's we at ISACA, we have a great material. A knowledge base is huge. Honestly, if you go through any other institution or or school or I don't know, document book or anything, it's always making reference of ISACA. So I think that the best way is starting with the path of CSX.
Okay, thank you. Maybe a specific role that I need to pursue for the starter.
Well, depending. I mean, you know what? I always try to think about what's my last or my vision of where I want to be. And for sure, if I want to be in a higher position, maybe be in the CIO, the CISO or something, well, then I have to go down and see what it needs for the CISO and or for the CIO or the position that you want to reach. Maybe not immediately, but in the long term, it's very important to see what is your vision about where you want to be. But for now, if you're in cybersecurity, well, I think the fundamentals is that ISACA offers is the best way to start.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mas Rio Armando Manik from Telkom Cyber member. And now I also have two participants who are now asking permission to ask questions. Since we still have time, Gabriela, I will give this opportunity for them to ask questions. Mas Andrian Johnson. Andrian Johnson? Yes?
Yep.
Open the mic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
Open mic.
Yeah, I'm Adrian Johnson from Dell Technologies. I'm from ISACA, Malaysia. Gabriela, hi.
Hi.
So in Dell Technologies, we're constantly facing emerging technologies where it's not covered by the previous governance framework. Let's take example from the DevOps, and the difficult one is the AI black box. How should we adapt to this one? I know that emerging technologies will always come at a faster and faster pace each time. Thank you.
Well, you know what? The problem most of the time is that the people that make the rules, that have the opportunity to do the changes, doesn't know what it means. I'm talking about our situation here in Latin America. Many of the experts who make the decision, the policies and everything, they don't have to be expert, they're politicians, but if they have a very strong team that advise them about what it has to be done, it's the best way to start. And the lack of knowledge give us as a result wrong decisions. I know it's not the best answer that you were expecting, but that's our reality. I don't know in Asia, but that happens a lot in Latin America. And we're dealing with this exactly the same technology. Sorry, I couldn't answer properly.
Got it. Because I'm not handling Asia, I'm handling Dell Global. So that's even more complex.
Good one, because you're worldwide. You have a worldwide presence, so you have to deal with several regulations.
Right.
So I think that the very best way to influence is to be there, to be present, to participate in those focus group where they start realize what is really happening out of their box. So I think that's, if you're in Dell, so you have the chance to participate in, or you or your colleagues worldwide can do it. So the best way is to be there, be present, and raise their hands.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew and Johnson, for having question for Gabriela. And Gabriela, actually, we still have like 20 more minutes in discussion. So I still open it if you have any question. Yeah. We still have more time to discuss here. We have participants who has raised hand. Derajat Wiryawan, SAMM. Okay. Bapak Derajat Wiryawan. Yeah, now you can open your mic
Okay,
and
thank
tell
you.
us your background.
Okay, thank you, MC.
Yeah.
My name is Rajat Wiryawan. I'm from British University. I'm lecturing on information system audit, Mr. Gabriel, Miss Gabriel, sorry. I just want to know about the explanation about the standard and the framework itself, because on ISACA has a lot of framework like COVID or something like that. My question was, because I'm very difficult to explain to my students about the implementation of the framework. What do you think about the any suggestion about this framework so the student can understand the minimal? For example, like there is a template or something like that, the base template for this framework, like COVID or something like, because according to my information, there is a lot of template and depend on the consultant or something like that. Maybe you can give me the insight for to explain to my student very helpfully. That's my good. Thank you.
You are welcome. Well, I think that something about COVID that we need to always keep in mind is that COVID, we adopted and we adapted, but we're going to adapt it according our needs. The new version of COVID 2019, the new one has this design factors, which are quite it's amazing what you can do with it. So I know the whole information, the whole framework for the students will be very complex. I know.
Yes.
By heart, for sure. But they need to know that you cannot govern and manage at the same time, talking about technology. And that's what COVID works. Why we use COVID, right? So first, I will make a small two sentences. COVID, we adopted and we adapted, first of all. And remember, one size doesn't fit for all. And as you just mentioned, it's a framework which is a reference and is built with a lot of standards. And COVID took all the best of those standards, put it in a very organized way, so we can have regarding security, management, people, control changes, continuity, audit, and many other situations or topics for IT. So it's just like, okay, what are you going to, what's the benefit that you want to have with technology? And then apply, knowing a little bit more about COVID, you adopt it and adapt it. That will be the way. And imagine as the governance, it's like, and the objective of the company is a destination. The management will be the guy who prepares the car, and governance will be indicating how many people for how many days, how many luggage do you have to have. So all that put in together will be well done if you use COVID.
Okay.
Governance and management.
It means that there is no the exactly of template. So the template itself depend on how to combine between the framework itself. That's
Yeah, because many people when you present COVID and they see all the standards and framework that it's based on, it's like, what? I have to implement all of those? No, maybe you already have, but in a very disorganized way. So COVID, you just put it in an organized way to obtain the value for companies.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, Pak Drajat, for asking question. We still have another more participants who are asking questions. I saw Mr. Ade Bambang raising hand, but oh yeah, we go to the room chat first before I go to the attendees who raise hand. In the room chat, we have our participants who type the questions. From Lukman Hadi Dwi Purnomo. The question is, some people say that being complied to particular international cybersecurity framework like NIST, ISO, and etc. does not guarantee the real security in the organization operation. How do you find it? And how do you respond it? Thank you. Gabriela, what's your
That's a
comment?
good question. You just mentioned several frameworks, and keep in mind that some of them are the answer for maybe an executive order. NIST is from the US. ISO applies pretty much worldwide. So it depends. Remember what I mentioned about compliance? Well, let's consider what it's compliance. And I think it's very, very, very related to risk tolerance. And we need to consider what it's the risk that is considered by each country. But for sure, all together works perfectly. And if you go through COVID, I love COVID for sure. If you go through COVID, it's all those frameworks and standards are there. So just save some time and go and try to implement COVID. Are you still there?
Yeah. This is the question from participants who type in the room chat. So basically, this is the question from the participant who type in the room chat. So,
yeah, I'm reading two more questions.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, Mr. Lukman Hadi Dwi Purnomo is still listening to Gabriela right now. Yeah. We're going to the live questions from attendees. We have Bapak Ade Bambang right now who raised hand for asking question. Bapak Ade Bambang?
Hello.
Yeah, Pak. You're connected now?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
I want to introduce myself. My name is Ade Bambang from Bandung. I work for Latest and 3-day Mandiri. Currently, in our company is not starting to implement of IT security, but we have a plan to implement it. And I need your suggest how to starting it implement, because I try to observe in internet and I have many literature and more read of the literature and more confused. And more
Sorry,
confused,
I couldn't listen what you're trying to implement. Sorry.
Sorry. I will repeat for my question. I want to describe first for the company here. In my company, I want to starting for the implement of IT security, but not implement yet. So I want your suggest what is the best way to starting to implement it. Understand?
Okay. I think that's the very best way to start is to perform a business impact analysis. So if you don't know what you have to take care of, anything that you implement could be good or could be wrong. So I think it's the most important thing, or the first step, is to identify, and then to plan the response. and then to create the solutions and being in a cycle to keep updating what it's important for the company. Because maybe for pharmaceutical is not the same importance of the risk, IT risk, of the security for a financial. Both have certainly needs of security, but what it goes first, it depends on what's the impact for the business. So you need to be very, very aware about what it needs to be done for the business. You need to be very involved with the business, what it's important for them. That's my very personal suggestion.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Mas Ade, for asking questions. Now, we're going to the room chat again. We have question coming from Dewi Ratna. Dewi Ratna. The question for Gabriela, I'll try to read. Where is it GRC role positioning within the 3 lines of defense risk management model? And what is the difference between it, GRC?
And IT risk. Okay, just I would like to clarify first. GRC is not a role position. It's what I explained is not a role position. It's a model of governance, risk, and compliance. And if you go through the 3 lines of defense from the IEA, the Institute for Internal Auditors, it goes for all the lines because you need to be part of the board, medium levels and lower levels. So you have to consider that GRC, that capacity, that habilitates the organization to face the risks, acting with integrity. It's for all of the lines of defense. And the difference between GRC and IT risk, I don't think there is a difference. I think, and regarding, according with the GRC model, based in the principal performance, you'll see that IT risk is part of the GRC, is part of the principal performance. There's no difference. It's part of it.
Thank you for answering the questions from the room chat. I believe Ibu Dewi Ratna also listening to the answer, like Bapak Lukman Hadi Dwi Purnomo also has been typing the reply for your question previous. And now we're going to the next attendees, Hak Zaki Saleh Balbit. Mr. Zaki Saleh Balbit, now open your mic and introduce yourself.
Okay.
Mr. Zaki, are you there? Yeah, we're waiting for Mr. Zaki.
Okay,
right?
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I just unmute. Okay, I'm a project management and IT audit enthusiast. My question is, from your point of view, Gabriel, do you think you find a new type of IT risk that is triggered by this COVID-19 pandemic situation?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Do you think that you find a new type of IT risk that is triggered by this COVID-19 pandemic situation?
Yes, for sure. That will be data protection. We're working from home, and most of us are using home networks or home Wi-Fi, which is the regular one without any secure. A lot of people couldn't bring their device from the office to home with all the security in place. You know, if they have their laptop, something portable, they have to start using their own computers. I think at the beginning with the pandemic, that was the hugest problem. The other thing is that performance from the networks. I think we already experiment a lot of failures because pretty much everybody is connected. So we're performance of the networks are very stressed right now. It's in their higher peak, and companies hasn't, not all the time and not in all places, have update or increase the capacity to provide the service for all population. I just sometimes, like today, I have to move from our country house and came to Guadalajara, which is a bigger city, because I know I have more options, because in the country I only have one, and now that everybody is connected, so performance of the network, and that's one of the biggest problems, the IT risk, the continuity, operations, security, and data protection, because now we cannot, at least not here in my country, not all the time all the branches for banking operations are open. So we always using electronics, and you don't know if it's secure all the time. Now I know, but regular people that it's not from the IT side, IT world, or they don't know where about cybersecurity, they have a lot of problems right now.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Pak Zaki, for asking questions. That I think that was a very interesting issue about data security. I thought previously I saw Bapak Leonard Ong, Pak Leo, was raising hand to. Yeah, Pak Leo. Pak Leo. I saw Pak Leo was raising hand
Good
previously.
morning, and good
Yeah,
evening
good morning,
to
Pak.
and Gabriela. Excellent presentation, by the way. Just a short question, and I thought another participant has also asked a question. During this pandemic year, and we see that a lot of businesses are affected in the bottom line. And I just would like to hear from you, what have you seen in your part of the world? Has that increased digital transformations? Has that, or do you see an increase of fraud? And how does the attitude of businesses in remediating and audit findings because of the limited revenues and so on? Just trying to see where the priority is from your observation. Thank you, Gabriela.
Okay. Well, I've seen all of them except for the investment. For sure, digital transformation just surpasses right now. Well, it's right here, and a lot of companies start doing it, but without any control, without the right advisory, and therefore there's a lot of issues right now. And one more is that they're like, okay, I made a mistake, let's bring an expert. And what the positive and the opportunity that I saw this year is that the inclusion of an expert in the board at all levels, in all sizes of companies, and that's a good thing. That's opens and that reevaluate the participation of an expert at all levels. I think that's a good thing. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for responding. Pak Leo, do you still want to respond?
No, I think that is great. I see a different way organization are coping with this. So definitely the sharing of notes that Gabriel have shared is very valuable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Leo. We still have another attendees who raise hand. We still have time, Gabriela. Nano Suyatna. Pak Nano Suyatna. And if we still have time, and then we go to Pak Firman. Pak Nano, please. Pak Nano, you can unmute the mic.
I'm sorry, but not have question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Punya hak, dia kewenangan untuk menawan.
Okay, Pak Nano Suyatna. Okay, we move to another participants. Pak Firman Fadilah. Pak Firman, yeah.
Hello,
Ready, Pak?
thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay, Pak Firman.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Pak
Okay.
Firman.
Thank you. I want to ask to Gabriela about in this pandemic era, I think in many countries, governments are deciding to use and contact tracing monitoring application in mobile phone, and this mobile in this application is using a GPS tracking ability to track the citizen of the country. But I think, however, there are some ethical and security implications. So these apps can be, the data can be leaked, so it can be misused by any individuals or organizations for unauthorized activities. So is there any laws and policies that should be implemented and enforced by the governments? Thank you.
Well, that's an issue. That's something that it's very worried. And regarding laws, each country has their own. We only can talk about best practices. And if we see a best practice running in some other place, we try to follow it. But it's not because the government is providing it. I mean, we know that data protection can be we know all our privacy can be compromised. My personal, very, very personal opinion is I don't install anything, and I take good care of myself, and I try to avoid crowded places. And as long as this lasts, and hopefully it's going to be over soon. In the meantime, if we don't have any warranties about the use of our information, I highly recommend not to use it. And I think that there isn't, at least in my country and some of the countries that I've been working with, there's no a mandatory regulation to install those kind of applications. So if your privacy can be compromised, I think it's not the best way. I couldn't answer because, I mean, legislation for each country is different. But I highly recommend it not to install anything unless it's mandatory. Because if they want to use your device, they have to pay it, and you're paying it, right? So that's my argument.
Okay. Okay, that was the answer. Thank you very much for the explanation, Gabriela Renaga. Seems like we are now run off of time. This is the end of the discussion of Gabriela Renaga. Very nice discussion, Gabriela. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Thank you very much. And I found a lot of similarities and a lot of worries from your side of the world, and we're experimenting exactly the same. So thank you very much for the invitation and for this space. And keep safe.
Yes. And hopefully we can have another more discussion in the future, Gabriela.
Hopefully. Thank you very much for the
Hopefully.
invitation, and good luck, very success for your event, and enjoy the rest of the sessions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay. Also, thank you for those participants who have been very active in asking questions in the discussion. We also will have another discussion after hearing explanations from our keynote speaker. So we're going to the next speaker right now. We have the topics that is very interactive about challenges and solutions. The topic is how to define and build threat intelligence capacity. Yes, that's topic. How to define and build threat intelligence capacity, that will be delivered by President of ISACA Italy chapter, Professor Claudio Chili. And before I welcome Professor Claudio Chile, I would like to read his short profile. He is a recognized world leading authority in the areas of national security and intelligence, company protection, information system security and compliance, with over 25 years of experience. He currently advises governments and international companies in the cybersecurity and critical infrastructures protection areas. So, now, please welcome. This is Professor Claudio Chili with the topics of how to define and build threat intelligence capacity. Please, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me to this interesting conference. Let me share the screen before we start the presentation. I don't know. I think you are seeing my hover. In case not, then just let me know. Thanks again for inviting me to this interesting conference, and also Richie was pursuing to have me in person since 1 year ago, but unfortunately, the coronavirus prevented this. But my promise is to come in the near future. This is a quite long presentation, but I will be staying within the time limit. The title is how to define and build a threat intelligence capability. The objective is to define what threat intelligence is and what exactly is, because many terms in the cybersecurity field and however in the all technical fields are often abused. No clear is what we are intending for threat intelligence. For example, we are using other terms, machine learning, artificial intelligence, almost everywhere. I believe it's time now to explain what exactly is the threat intelligence. So this is the agenda for this morning. What threat intelligence is, what exactly is a threat intelligence, what it does, how to build capability, and other source of information to build a good threat intelligence. In addition, a couple of more, gadgets for you and the conclusion. It's a very practical presentation. Let's start for the threat intelligence. What is a threat intelligence? Let's start with the risk measurement framework. This is the official, widely recognized risk measurement framework published by the NIST Institute. What we do in general, is to start from this point where we assume some threats affecting or threatening our company. We imagine how dangerous they are and build some sort of countermeasures or wall to protect against them. Unfortunately, attackers are much more smart than they are. And sorry, that was a chat. Attackers are very smart and they do not use the threats we organize to fight against. What they see? Normally, before starting an attack, today criminal organization, look to their target and decide and define what to do. That means we are building a wall to protect against a scenario it's very unlikely to happen. The modern approach is to go to attacker's home, design and picture the organization, how they are, how strong they are, why they are targeting us, and which kind of weapon they have. This is the difference from the traditional risk management and the modern one. Start looking at the enemy. Imagine who are the enemy. Have a real picture of the enemies, their capability, intent, motivation, and why they are targeting us. Then define the correct countermeasure. That's it. This is the threat intelligence. In other words, going at adversary homes to understand exactly who they are, what are they doing, and why they are considering attacking us. This determines a real scenario for the risk management. This is the threat intelligence. That means using the intelligence techniques to define exactly what a threat is, our threat. How does it work? First of all, we need to understand who exactly we are. Then, who are the threats? And using our skills, knowledge, and capabilities to set up the real protection. So the role of a cybersecurity professional is changing from the past, where only information techniques, information systems, protection systems, products were supposed to be known. Now we need to understand who are our enemy, how they are considering targeting us, and who we are. This is the situational awareness, because we need to understand the real threats, not the something we imagine could happen and it will never happen. So what exactly is? There are few definitions. One is coming from Forsters, the test of the motivation, intent, and capabilities of internal and external threat. Threat intelligence includes specific on the tactics, techniques, and procedures. In other words, we need to understand exactly what's going on. No makes assumptions. Another definition is from Gardner's. Knowledge, evidence-based. Context, mechanism, indicator, etc. Once again, evidence-based. Go real. That's the trick. The problem is how to gather this evidence. I will try to explain a couple of tricks and a couple of methodologies to set a good threat intelligence capability in your companies. Threat intelligence is both strategic and operational. Knowing the context on where our company is working, where our company is, including geographic location, and geopolitics, and environmental, everything. So understand motivation, capability, implication of our enemies to define advices really actionable. That means practical, to have our company management to take the right decision. On the other ones, knowing operational mechanism, indicator, techniques, procedure, this is the traditional risk management. The threat intelligence is not something different. It's just something more, which encompasses the traditional, I still use this term, the off-the-shelf risk management. What it does? Prevention and detection. Now we are focused on detection. In other words, our approach is to falling behind. We stay on the window, waiting for the enemy, and when the enemy starts its attack, we assume to be enough lucky to counterfire it. But because the enemy, before starting the attack, gets a lot of information about us, it's unlikely he'll be using the same weapon we protected against. So the objective of the threat intelligence is to prevent, determine the real threats before they happen, to set the correct countermeasures and survival techniques. How to do that? We already have everything. What you mean is we don't need anything different from what we already have, because incident response, attack vector, malware analysis, email analysis, correlation, security incident event monitoring systems, we already have all of this. Companies are well aware of those systems and they're full now. They know how to use any single piece of this puzzle, of this graph. But they are using it the wrong way to define a possible scenario which is very unlikely to happen. So what the threat intelligence is nothing more than reconsider the use of everything we already have. This is the threat intelligence plan. The program includes the tools we already have from the detect, response, CM, firewall, tools, everything we have. GPS and this. We have a very high competence on those systems, but they're used only to detect the enemy and to respond where possible. Threat intelligence is using OSINT mainly, plus research, that means read bulletin boards, books, news, specialized forums, etc. Take advantage of possible, if necessary, external service, plus everything we have about information security advisory, ISAC, clubs, bulletin, and consortiums. So get information from everywhere, 80% from housing, determine who are the possible scenarios, the possible real scenarios, and thanks for the system we have, set up the right program to fight the real threats. What are the focal points? Logs, network, endpoint, threat intelligence. we have everything. Just start thinking about this. So now we define what the threat intelligence generally is. In general, let's start considering how to set the capability. This is Sensu, who wrote the How to Wars that I book to read several times. What we know is to know the objective of threat intelligence is very easy. Know the enemy, know yourself, situation awareness, know the enemy, threat intelligence, and then we can set up the best response. The objective is to enable a risk reduction using the same things we already have, the same tools we already have. At three levels: tactical, operational, and strategic. Let me explain better. Tactical means, this is the program, improve the ability of the systems you already have. Security Operations Center, for example, and security people working in our company, plus consultants, to make them able to answer quickly to possible events. So train people how and increase their competencies. And teach them, security people, more than security and strategic plans over company, organization, future plans, etc. Operational level, improve the ability of the medium and middle and top management to understand the role of threat intelligence. So improve the ability. The objective is to evolve the use of the cyber tool to understand how better will be their lives because of the threat intelligence. Lastly, strategic. Improve the top management and board director to include cyber risk and to consider cyber risk when they are taking strategical decisions. For example, to establish a new plant in another country or to start a new line of products or whatever. How to end this? Okay, and now we roughly know what the generally a threat intelligence is. Prevention is the magic word. How to start and build a practice without spending money, without to make a revolution in our company. The objective is to understand aggressors, to establish the good right level of corporate commission, to understand who is the management, try and get the right people, the skilled people, and tools and source of information, which will be part of our program. The objective of the final objective of these topics, of these elements, will be to understand who we are and how to take the right strategic decision because of the enemy environment surrounding us. Practically, this is what I do personally. So you may say, you may think, I spoke for 20 minutes saying a lot of top level things. Fine guy. So the threat intelligence actually is nothing practical. Instead, building a threat intelligence is really a practical thing. there are several approaches to start a threat intelligence practice. For example, this is what I do. Just using a spreadsheet like this, where on each row you indicate the potential adversary, because we know who we are. Thanks to the various sources of information, we know who are the adversaries present in the area where we are now, who they are, some example, and why we are thinking about that, why we are considering that they a potential threat. This is the list. It's very simple. This is a very short grid. The real one is much longer, where all potential adversaries are listed, why we are considering they represent a threat, and because what they might do against us. That's the first map. You can build this using the open source information plus agency, the source information I explained before. Then keep moving. Fill another box, another spreadsheet where we list what are the possible damages in our information system for our company. In other words, the column represent possible attacks to our systems. How the attacks is possible, where they might come from. This is the risk analysis, the traditional risk analysis. Combining the spreadsheets, we have this summary, where we have the consequences, why, and the impact. These three elements represent the scenario. In other words, the picture of the real threats, the real consequences. What can happen? Because there are some people, internal or external, which under specific circumstances might be motivated to attack our systems. So the final result is to create the risk scenarios. Threat adversary. This is the column comes from the possible adversary, the last spreadsheet in the previous page, and then the previous pages. The vector and the consequence. Connecting each element to the vector, they're able to use to start the attack. What systems they are using, what they do. The activist, in this example, after our analysis, can do both of these: a social engineering, a spear phishing, and distributed DOS attack. The consequence comes from the previous spreadsheet, is a loss of sensitive data or a disruption of systems. What happens if this one happens is the risk scenario, where we describe exactly what's going on. We have, thanks to COVID, a very nice example and a comprehensive library. In fact, if you have a look at the COVID implementation manual, at the end, there are several risk scenarios. People not often look at them. They're very important source of information, the risk scenarios coming from the COVID implementation, because they can use as a starting point to build this one. At the end of our map, we have some box connected together. Others are left alone because we do not consider they're applicable because of there are no adversaries or our systems do not are not affected probably by this kind of attack. So those are the real scenarios. After the analysis, we have the list of scenarios, of real scenarios to fight against. How to establish this? In other words, which kind of companies are needed to do that? First of all, training, exercise, cyber threat, cyber range, train people to answer quickly, understanding adversaries, and be able to create a dynamic information security infrastructure. Important to have right people able to answer and to take quick decisions. Strategic. Get information about the evolution of adversaries, geo-risk, and geopolitics, business, supply chain. Everything must be part of our practice. Not concentrate only on information systems. Geopolitical is of extreme importance because the cyber risk is part of the threat intelligence practice. Because we need to know who are living in the countries, in the location where we do our business. Which kind of people or potential attackers are there? Why are they motivated? Why they might start an attack against us? This is the cyber risk, and geopolitics must be part of the competence field of a security practitioner. During the establishment of our practice, it's possible to define a few key performance indicators like this to understand how good we're doing and how far we are from the target of establishing an effective practice, cyber threat intelligence practice. So it's possible to, if you like, to measure the progress of our program. This is an example of a metric: strategic, operational, tactic, for example. Once we know what we need to do and how we need a threat intelligence, how to set the threat intelligence capability, let's have a look on the second part of the presentation to the more valuable source of information. First is OSINT, Open Source Intelligence. What is OSINT? OSINT is simply open your eyes, open your ears, look and listen. 80% of the information we need are publicly available. What we need to do is to get a method to discover them, because they are almost everywhere in the social media, literature, newspaper, magazines. Information, OSINT information are almost everywhere. It's only necessary to understand why they are so valuable and how to get them. We distinguish in a few definitions. Open source data is everything, is the world surrounding. The information is what intelligence does. Collect open source data, mostly from the social network, again, and correlate to get valuable information. And if you want to go further, We can validate, for example, a specific analysis, testimonials, witnesses, and expert opinions, and collecting evidence. But what we need to do is to have this open source information from the data. Data are most everywhere. I insist, 90% of everything we need is on the social media. Facebook, Contact, and others on the top. Everything is there. Those are the sources: media, internet, research, geographic, observation, experts. Everything is publicly available, and it costs almost nothing. We need only to understand how to use them, how to get profit of the information we already have. That's something. For example, maybe you don't know that looking inside Facebook, it's possible to download the Al-Qaeda manual. If you do a search, a Google search, you will not retrieve the manual, the PDF version of the manual. But looking in the various Facebook pages, following links, often hidden links or short links, you arrive to the site where the manual might be downloaded. Everything is there. Housing is 80% of value of the information and only 5% of cost. In other words, some time to spend surfing the web. 20% of value costs 95% of cost. This is what the intelligence agencies do, but we don't need for our practice. Everything is there. Those are the process. This is the process. Free available information, collect them, elaborate, and get analysis. Those last two represent the intelligence. Trained people can do the trick. Nothing special. Plus, some tools, mostly free, already available, but I don't trust in tools, so I do everything on my own. That's it. OSINT is the fundamental of threat intelligence. Give context to classified information. Starting point to further investigation. Intent or friendly and information about the best areas for this are on OSINT. Plus status capabilities and other information needed for our practice. That's it. Very easy. We need only to remodulate the way we think. Start considering going at enemy's house, collect information mostly freely available, and then use them to picture the real threat scenarios which high probability to happen, so we are ready to counterfight, to respond to the real scenarios. If you go on the underground, there are some arms suppliers. This is an example. The cyber weapons are almost everywhere. They're very cheap. Generally not illegal, like this one, or research only. What I mean, without a proper method, we are alone. It's impossible without a threat intelligence analysis to fight people like them. for example, in this site, this comes from the dark web, is the tariff rate, the price for botnet. This is another famous Wabi Sabi Labi, in the darknet as well, where the zero-day attacks, the newly discovered vulnerabilities are put on action. With interesting prices. So it's impossible without threat intelligence capability to fight those people. These are botnets, famous botnets, on sale. The claim is really profitable, low risk, easy also from a morally point of view. So if we do not understand who are they and how they think, it's impossible to resist targeting a target. So the conclusion is, today security perimeter paradigm is this one. All attacks are organized. Beyond any single attack, there's a group or a specific organization whose objective is to get control of your system, of your people, getting information, and establish tools, systems, or whatever, not necessarily technical, to get the precious information you have. What I mean, the paradigm is, forget a lone wolf. Today, all attacks are organized. So we need to organize to fight the organized attackers. All attacks are coordinated. The victim is the end user, always. Then the chain of events follow. Methods, technologies may change, but the objective is always the same. Explore and steal information. What we need to understand is how they do that. Again, is the threat intelligence to heights, where the threat intelligence plays a role in the chain of events. These boxes represent a typical coordinated attack. Recognizement, creation of the weapons, of the cyber weapons, delivering the weapons to us, email or fake sites or whatever. Then the malware starts the exploitation, establish the command and control to have our company open to the attackers. This is the typical, and it's always followed, chain of events. Threat intelligence plays a role in all to fight all of these elements. To recognize during the recognition, the weaponization phase, because we know who are they, so which kind of tools they are using against the organization, what they do with our information and data. So threat intelligence is everywhere. On the other side, the approach is to follow behind. Falling behind is a famous sentence from Albert Einstein. And it's real. Because what we do now is to dig a wall to combat unknown enemies who will never appear. So we stay until we are hit by the bomb and fall behind. What we need is to prevent. What is the intelligence, in this case, the web intelligence? Read, collect, and analyze. Using several tools, cyberhuman intelligence, social media intelligence, text mining, Google searches, sentiment analysis, social media. We know all those tools. We need to understand how can cooperate each other to help establish the threat intelligence capability in our company. For example, social engineering. Again, at Simpson and is a small brand. What is social engineering? We already are facing the so-named big data, another mysterious word. Big data represent everything, the enormous quantity of information we as a single citizen produce every day. So the information are there. Intelligence is look at them, resolve using the intelligent techniques to provide alerts, information, anything that our manager needs. Again, the big data are everywhere. It's easy to look at them. What we need is to get relevant information for a better protection of our company. So let's finish the last couple of slides. Those are the competence needed by a cybersecurity expert. The cybersecurity practitioner must know of IT, but he must know human intelligence, collection of information analysis, intelligence techniques, specific expertise, plus cyber expertise. This is the companies needed for a cybersecurity practitioner. Where the information are? Open source. You may do that just surfing the net. Deep information using techniques or tools to help you if you need. And dark web, in case you want to go in to refine your searches. But I recommend the open source is 80% of what we need. We only need to increase our ability to read the information we already have. Why the cyber intelligence is useful? Because everybody needs it. Lower intelligence units, cybercrime units, our company. It was the result. Training, report, advisories. Here's an example. The result is valuable information to help management to take better and right decisions. So let's end my presentation with the recommendation for you, as I promised. This is the only way to browse the internet in a secure way. And after 45 minutes or more of presentation, I hope you are not in this situation, and I want to thank for your attention. Hopefully, I cannot see you, but I hope you are not in this situation now. Thanks for your attention, and we can use the remaining minutes for question and answer. Thank you.
check. Yes?
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you for
here.
the presentation.
Yes, I finished.
Yeah, thank you for the presentations from Professor Chili. So we are now opening questions from the participants. If you have any questions from the participants, we are now waiting for your questions. And of course, we also have prizes for those who are raising questions right now. Rino Dwi Putra, are you ready to tell you what is your question? To tell us what is your questions? Rino, open mic.
Okay, I'm ready.
Please.
Sorry, my signal is problem.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Now it's now we can hear you better. Mas Rino.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay, we are waiting for Mas Rino. Oh, now we move to Anthony Ramdan. Mas Anthony, are you there? Mas Anthony Ramdan? Our attendees right now is 325. And we have 3 that raising questions. Mas Anthony? Mas Anthony, are you there? Okay, Chili. Well, we're waiting for Mr. Anthony Ramdan. Now I will read questions from the room chat. We have a question from Bapak Zaki Ahmad. The question is how we compromise between privacy and usability and how we ensure our data that is not being misused.
Um, the threat intelligence is something more than security. Therefore, the misuse or the risk are not. What I mean, we are not make a revolution of the approach. What we are proposing is to reconsider the way information we have to be better used, for better usage. There is no risk because, for example, we company already have CM, SOC, EDS, IDS, firewall, everything. So there's no risk, no need to dispose those systems and starting something brand new. Only integrate the system we have, you already have, the existing risk management approach to something new. To move towards reaction to anticipation. Nothing else. So there are no risks. Just start learning and considering and establish a plan. There are many experts in the world, and the threat intelligence is always becoming every day popular, more popular because the benefits are tangible.
Okay. Thank you for answering the question, Prof. Okay, we have another question coming from Hari Bawana. Prof. Eng, I'm Hari Bawana from Mandiri Bank. Thank you for your presentation. And can you share your thought about how to prevent internal and external threat, although already using any tools of perimeters device, then periodically security awareness, any else of the prevention, and how to manage the risk? Thank you for answering my question.
Oh, okay, I read the question. Preventing means knowing who are people who consider enemy and anticipate their their move their moves. In other words, uh, prevention is not a technique, is not a tool. It's a different mental approach where we have an eye on the real threats. For example, if we understand there is a new group arising, a new APT group arising in a specific location, before they start the attack, we understand who they are, their motivation, the possible weapon they might use, and then establish our prevention scenario. For example, the periodical the awareness is just part of it. Awareness means have people opening their eyes and ears and report anything suspicious or strange phenomenon or just information they might see or read somewhere. That's it. This is my view of prevention.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof, for answering the questions. And we now move to the attendees, Prof. We have two actually raising hands here. Mr. Drajat Wiryawan, are you hearing me? Mr. Drajat Wiryawan, you're raising hand? You want to ask question?
Yes.
Please, please.
Okay, thank you, MC. Uh, Hello, Prof. Can you hear my voice?
Prof, can you hear the voice?
Hello, Professor Shili.
Yeah.
Okay.
Professor? Okay.
Yes.
Pak Drajat, can you continue asking?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hello, Prof. According to your explanation about this threat intelligence, I'm from lecturing from Binus University, Jakarta, and I teaching IS audit or information system audit and information system security. Based on this material about the threat of intelligence, what do you think about the develop the artificial intelligence? Because you know, this era has a digital revolution, and all of the people use the technology to connect each others. What do you think about the artificial intelligence with the security? Maybe if we can build the artificial intelligence on software like machine learning, deep learning, or something like that, we can use artificial intelligence by attackers uh, or control or something like that. What is your opinion about the artificial intelligence security software? Thank you, Prof.
Okay. I receive often this question. People believe it's possible to build automated tools to do the trick. In fact, there are several researches on the artificial intelligence as machine learning roles in retrieving information, in creating the practice, in the intelligence for the intelligence part. My personal opinion is they are still under development, but I do not believe, I do not trust on artificial intelligence in building this practice. They might be used for refined analysis. There are several tools to help. For example, Maltigo is an open source intelligence tool. Good for collect and represent the connection between between sources, between the elements coming from the open source. Those tools are good to help, but the threat intelligence is that relies upon today on the practitioner sensibility. For what I do is only look and read the social network. In my investigations, when governments ask me to, when governments task me for some specific assignment regarding threats or a new threat, a new group, I do that only surfing the social network. 90% of answers are there, and I don't think an intelligence system and the AI might have. But have a look at this. This is the situation of today. Who knows what will happen in a couple of years? For example, in my university, we are starting a couple of research projects aiming to combat the fake news using a machine learning and artificial intelligence engine. Those are researches at the moment, research projects. But who knows? Maybe in a couple of years there will be reach an automated system to help companies in building the capabilities. So have a look at this. Do not rely now, but still looking.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Shirley, for explaining to us, answering the questions from Pak Derajat Wiryawan. We still have another attendees. We still have time, so we are still inviting our attendees to raise hand if you have any questions right now. Anyone? Anyone? Any attendees want to ask question? Pak Abdurrahman Izi? Oh, okay. Mas Nanang Cahyadi asking question in the room chat. Prof. Chili, I tried to read the questions from Mas Nanang Cahyadi for you. My name is Nanang Cahyadi. I'm a graduate student majoring in information security at ITB, Indonesia. My internet connection seems poor, and I'm curious about the idea of cyber threat intelligence. But I wonder how we align the intelligence proposed with the relationship between organizations and their third-party IT assessors, such as penetration testing companies. Do we no longer need to transfer vulnerability validation tasks to third parties? Remembering that the presence of third parties can help the organization streamline process and costs. That's the question, Prof.
Yes, I read it. The answer is it's very easy. We don't need to change anything. So the relationship with the third-party penetration tester, vulnerability analysis, and whatever in general, no change in the relationship with our partners. They will be part of the program. So what we need to do is simply to increase our level of competence and our approach. So there is no need to change any kind of relationship. For example, because in one of the slides I presented, maybe you remember, the slide is divided, is split in two. On the right side, there are the tools you already have. IDS, SOC, intrusion prevention systems, network, CM, etc. On the left side, threat intelligence strategy. penetration testing, vulnerability analysis are essential part of the right part of the slide. So the technical and the tactical approach. So there's no need to change anything, only modify our mentality is the first step. Nothing, no revolution, simply integration. Integration of what we already have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Shili, for answering question from Mas Nanang Cahyadi. And now we go to Akbar Nurwahyu Arifin Putra. The question is, how do we consider to define and access a cybersecurity risk management in government scope, especially for development of smart city? Anyway, Prof, it's really wonderful and insightful material and speech from you. Thank you.
Oh, the answer is easy. Smart city, smart grid, Internet of Things are very nice things. What does what a government needs to do? Simply appoint a group of experts to help them. It's easy because threat intelligence is only a methodology. It's not technical. It's not technicality. What they need to include a threat intelligence in the smart city is to pursue the three objectives I explained: strategical, technical, and operational. Governments are focused on the operational. Now it's time to move towards strategic. How? If I don't have the right competencies, just ask, because there are experts in creating specific committees and boards to assist government in building the modern smart cities.
Yeah, that's a question. Thank you. That's the answer from Prof. Chili. Thank you very much. And we still have another question from the participants in the room chat from Arasi Ramli. From Arasi Ramli, Head of IT Security in Smart Friend Telecom. OSINT, OSINT, is promising tools to profile people. One of the best functions is to screen candidate employee, to detect political or religious extremists that might disrupt environment in company. How do you see the idea? Is there any regulation compliance for doing this? Example, not to be accused as racism. And what is the best approach to implement this? Thank you.
I see. It's very delicate because in some countries the background investigation is allowed. In other countries, like Europe, where I live now, is not allowed. I do recommend not to be not to be accused as an extremist or a racist, because this is not the case. But when you are hiring a new candidate, when a company is in process of hiring a candidate, what it does, it opens LinkedIn and check whether the candidate has a profile and what is written there. So companies are already doing this. If you, how can I say, go further and use the open source in addition to what companies are doing to have a better understanding of candidate profiles, this is not illegal. This here is a very nice, good question, because again, what we need is to change the approach. The information are there. The human resource manager, first thing he does when screening a candidate is check the LinkedIn or similar professional network profile. So why don't teach the human resources to look at the social media using the intelligent techniques, and in case they don't have such competencies, ask for help to have a picture of the candidates. This is not illegal, but if I do belong to an extremist group and then to a recognized extremist group, and then I try to get hired in a company, it's perfectly logical the company refused to hire a person whose private life is so, in a potential, would be some potential dangerous for the company. So it's absolutely logical and correct. Again, help human resources managers in looking for other information in the social media. So the answer is correct. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Shirley, for answering question. And we now move to attendees. We see there is one attendee raising hand, Anders Gui. Okay. Yes, you can ask. You can ask question now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Prof. Claudio. Please share about how to prevent the risk of hacking e-commerce user data. What strategic, tactical, technical, and operational threat intelligence do you recommend?
It's better you repeat the question because I received only a few words of yours. Sorry.
Huh?
The question, Pak?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. What strategic, tactical, technical, and operational threat intelligence do you recommend? As we know, last April this year, one of unicorn in Indonesia, their user data was hacked.
Pak Andres?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is about the internet connection, so we cannot hear you clearly. Can you repeat?
Okay, I check. Yeah, I check.
Maybe it's better you write the question.
Sorry, I tap to check.
Yes. Yes, Pak Andres. Pak Andres?
Cannot check.
Yeah. Okay, just repeat the question, Pak. Pak Andres?
Yeah. Or please give example what kind of strategic, technical, and operational threat intelligence in order to minimize the risk of user data.
I don't know if I understood well, but there is no strategy. The threat intelligence is just a mental attitude. Is a different use of tools, techniques, information you already have. So there's no strategy. Just reconsider the role of the information of the system you already have. Just the approach is changing. I would start, if you want to embrace the threat intelligence field and practice, I would start in looking at social media. In other words, start imagine figure a possible investigation and try to answer using and reading in the social media. Unfortunately, this is I caught only a few words of your question, so I don't know if I correctly answered. But it's not a revolution. It's only a change of mental approach.
Pak Andres, is it answering the question?
Yeah, thank you, Prof.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Chili. We go to Mas Rahmat Hidayat. Mas Rahmat Hidayat also has question. Open mic first.
Hello.
Hello, Mas Rahmat.
Yes.
Maybe you can introduce yourself first.
Hello. My name is Rahmat Hidayat again. I am from Asuransi Kredit Indonesia, and currently my position is division head of Information Technology Division. So basically, I have wrote my question also in Q&A part, but I want to explain a little bit, yeah, because right now a lack of risk decision making structure and lack of accountability for risk decision in an organization. Almost every business executive is comfortable with risk decision making. However, in many cases, the right people are not making those decisions. So how we can develop people so they have a very good knowledge in how they can manage their risk, because currently my company using COSO 2017 for the ERM, and will change to ISO 31000 for the next year. So with your first explanation about the NIST IT risk framework in your earlier presentation, how we can integrate between the IT risk management framework to the ERM, and also how we can develop people so they can make the right decision, especially in the risk management. Thank you.
Okay, always clear. The second part, the first question is quite easy. The risk management is part of the threat intelligence practice. So you don't need to change anything but to integrate the risk management with this new approach. So integrate the risk management with the information you get looking at enemy's houses. So there's no need to change anything. I read a question about NIST or ISO 3100, 31,000, etc. No, we don't need to change anything. It is not a method. It's an approach. So if a company is certified and it follows some ISO standard or whatever, they can only make a different use of the information. So there's no need to change anything. If the answer the first question. But the second is how to train people. Actually, many companies are providing cyber range training courses, and universities are doing the same. So tools and source information for training people are available. What I recommend is to have top management considering this approach and establish founding a program for train the new people. I can bring the my experience here in Italy, in Rome. We have a cybersecurity master degree where those things are taught, and other universities are doing the same. So source information for practice training are increasing. Cyber range is the magic word for practitioners.
Okay. Mas Rahmat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the answer. Do you want to respond again?
Yes. Thank you, Prof, for your explanation. From the explanation, if I can get the conclusion, so there is no something that different between the ISO or COSO with the NIST approach. Yeah, I mean NIST approach can be used for the company also to identify the risk, but still can integrate it with the ISO and the COSO itself, right?
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, but basically because there is some quite big difference, Prof, in terms of measure the impact of the risk, because usually ISO and COSO calculate the impact of the risk based on the they call it like value at risk or something like that, that impact in the financial of the company. But for the NIST, mostly in the technical things, and because IT usually as a supporting things, yeah, in the company, especially not in technology company, but in like financial industry or something like that. So the challenge is how we can measure the impact in the infrastructure, especially in the IT side, in the business side, because we have difficulties to measure. For example, if we invest in some server with a different brand or something, or in the project management, so how we can measure with the impact of the risk for the company? Can you give us some clues, Prof, so we can learn something? Thank you, Prof.
Okay, but you already are measuring the impact of risk because of many methodologies exist, including the NIST. The only difference between threat analysis, threat intelligence, and risk management is in the threat analysis, you are considering the real threats. But in the traditional risk management, you are not considering a real threat, but only possible threats.
Yes.
For the rest, how to measure the impact, the potential losses, the risk in general are exactly the same. So there's no need to change any methodology or framework. If we want to use the NIST or topic or whatever, there's no need to change. It's only the scenario. Scenarios are different.
Okay.
In the threat analysis, you are measuring the impact of a real scenario. In other words, a situation could really happen. In the risk analysis, you are not considering the possibility of a risk to happen. For example, in the traditional, in the typical risk analysis, you make a list of possible threats. For example, theft, improper modification, improper disclosure, etc., and set the potential damage for a threat due to one of those threats, and then establish the proper countermeasures. But in the threat analysis, in the threat intelligence, I reach the knowledge of knowing where and how this threat is possible and how to do happen. In other words, real threat. This is the only difference. Real against potential. For the rest, everything is the same.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Prof, for your explanation.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mas Rahmat Hidayat, for participating in our discussion this morning. Thank you, Prof. Chili, for answering the question. We still have time? We still have time? No more questions? Okay, Prof. Chili, this is the end of our discussion. Is there anything else that you want to share to us as conclusions for this discussion?
Thank you for inviting. It was a very, very nice experience for me because it's only the second one online. And I want to thank you for inviting me again and for the huge number of people attending this conference and the high participation. Thanks to Richie, Torian, and good luck for the rest of the conference. And I hope to see you in person in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Chili, for having a very nice talk and discussion this morning. Thank you, Prof. Chili. Okay, so now, all participants, it's time for us to play a game in quiz. We have some prizes that you can get by joining our quiz right now. So once again, to all participants, you might join our quiz right now. The rules how to play this quiz is join the website. Yes, to all participants, you can join the website quizzes, www.quizzes, okay? www.quizzes, and then you can join using your real name to log in, and then enter the join code 129754. That's the join code. We have Chandra Wijaya right now as the first participants to join the quiz. We have several prizes that you can get. We have also Anissa Yulianti, Firka, Andrian Johnson. Okay, we're still waiting for another participants to do the quizzes. We have so many prizes right now. Okay, we have 53 participants. Seventy 79, 80. Yeah, we're still waiting for all participants to join the quiz. Okay, we have the prizes here. We have one wireless speaker and 2 Greg's t-shirt. We also have 1 GPL speaker theater and 5 Greg's t-shirt. All the prizes will be sent to the address of the participants who win the quiz. And for those who have been asking questions in the sessions of Gabriela Reinaga and in the session of Prof. Chili also will get the prizes. And as the same thing, we also will deliver the prizes at the home of the participants who have been raising questions in the 2 discussions before. Okay, now we go to the quiz again. How many participants join in the quiz? We have 139, 140. Can we start now? We're still waiting for another participants to join. We have 6 winners for this session. Okay, we have 146. We're still waiting for another participants to join this quiz. Okay, we will start now. Okay, start. Ready? Go. Okay, we got the winner already. We will take 6th place as the winner. The first place is congratulations to Mas Zaki Ahmad for 4,540 points. The second place, congratulations to Jurza with 4,410 points. The third place, congratulations to Bambang Zulkarnain with the points 4,360 points. And then the fourth place, congratulations to Jonathan Jordan, 4,350 points. The fifth place, congratulations to Heru Santosa, 4,250 points. And the sixth place, congratulations to Mas M. Gus N with 4,150 points. So we got the winner already. Congratulations to participants who got the prizes. We got 6 winners: Zaki Ahmad, Jurzal, Bambang Zulkarnain, Jonathan Jordan, Heru Santosa, and Mas M. Gus N. So, congratulations once again to all winners this morning. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the quizzes we played. Thanks a lot for joining the quiz. And anyway, before we end this meeting, we have discussed so many useful informations and materials we had. And before we close this first day meeting, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say thanks to our sponsors, because with the help and the support from our sponsors, this meeting will help very effectively. Congratulations to our titanium sponsors, F5, Indosat Uridu, Palladium sponsors, MTT Indonesia, Datacom Dian Graha, our gold sponsors. Thank you very much for Praxis Consulting Group, Idea Insight Consulting, and then Multimathix, Transforma, ATD Solution, EY Building a Better Working World, and all supporting organizations and media partner. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the first day, CREX 2020 ISACA Indonesia meeting, the first day. Thanks a lot for joining us. And I just would like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any problem to log in for the second day or the third day, don't be hesitant to ask the registration team to help you by WhatsApp or email. This is the end of CREX 2020 meeting first day. Stay safe and healthy and follow the health protocol procedures. We also have Google Form in the end of Zoom. Please fill the page to give us some additional data. I'm Santi Zaidan. Thank you very much, and see you at CREX 2020, the second day tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Indonesia time. Thank you very much.
Attackers are targeting your applications. Armies of bots are increasingly used to automate vulnerability exploits and accelerate commercial and retail fraud. Plus, readily available compromised data and tools provide attackers with an attractive ROI. And the risk surface is growing as modern apps are decentralized, leveraging APIs and third-party integrations, which can create security blind spots. Strategic business initiatives such as revenue generation, customer loyalty, and brand building can be hijacked, resulting in data breaches, account takeovers, and fraud. Your customers demand trusted digital experiences, but your apps are complex, which makes them tougher to secure. Your business is at stake. F5 solutions protect digital experiences, reduce operational costs, and improve customer retention through a resilient, automated, and adaptive defense that maintains full efficacy as attackers evolve. reduces friction for your customers, and enables security at app speed. So you can keep your business safe and productive now while ensuring that you're prepared for the next evolution of attacks. Learn more at f5.com/adaptiveapps.
...2020 adalah tahun yang terasa asing. Seperti menjejakkan kaki ke dunia baru, semua terasa tidak akrab. Dengan menghadapi dunia yang berbeda, hidup kita pun menjadi tak lagi sama. Semua di depan mata, terpapar apa adanya. Ketidakpastian, batasan, hingga masa depan yang terlihat abu-abu, semua terpampang luas di depan mata. Semua ini seakan-akan perjalanan panjang tanpa akhir. Asing, namun menarik. Tidak akrab, namun menjanjikan. Ini semua tidak menjadi halangan bagi kita untuk terus berlari. Pastikan jiwa terus menyala untuk bangkitkan harapan. Menginspirasi dan memotivasi masyarakat untuk terus lakukan aksi. Berjuang berdampingan untuk masa depan yang pasti. Indosat Uridu 53 tahun untuk bangkitkan Indonesia. Bangkit bersama, kejar ujung matahari untuk hari esok yang lebih cerah. 53 tahun Indosat Uridu, Rising Up Indonesia.